Every child trusts their intuition, so why do most adults stop? Our intuition is a psychological and social process. From infancy onward, humans learn what is allowed, forbidden, encouraged, or valued through caregivers, culture, and organizations, institutions. Over time, many external permissions become internalized, influencing our identity, behavior, exploration, creativity, autonomy, and perceived possibilities. This means we also screen out what does not fit into that socialization. Our intuition does not go away because it is innate. What happens, we very early learn constraint that defines the boundaries of what is considered acceptable or even possible. And we internalize our perceptions unconsciously, waiting for approval, even when none is required, because that is how we are acculturated. These constraints shape what a person believes they are allowed to think, feel, create, or become and influence our identity. When the culture doesn't value intuition, we stop noticing, but they keep happening despite that we no longer notice. Underneath all of this is permission. Permission is not simply a word, it is an organizing principle. It frames possibility by defining what is legitimate, thinkable, and actionable. As those permissions become embedded, they shape perception as much as our behavior. One consequence is that people may not recognize capacities they already possess because those capacities were never culturally or personally authorized. How does this affect our imagination, going outside of societal norms, our expression, creativity, intuition, insight, innovation, and living in an evolving reality? Permission influences all of these because it establishes the boundary of what is considered legitimate. Imagination is not permitted, it is dismissed as fantasy rather than cultivated as a way of perceiving possibilities. Permission defines the edge of acceptable thought and behavior. Innovation often begins where our inherited permissions ends. People learn what parts of themselves are acceptable to reveal. Creativity requires tolerance for uncertainty and deviation. A permission-based mindset inhibits originality, and many cultures prioritize externally validated knowing, like Western culture, knowledge causing intuition, perceptions to be discounted or ignored and forgotten. New insights can challenge existing mainstream, so they're dismissed. And innovation depends on authorizing questions, experiments, and possibilities that do not yet fit existing frameworks. When reality is assumed to be fixed, permission reinforces conformity. When reality is understood as continuous unfolding, we depend less on receiving permission and more on cultivating discernment and our perception. That is what an evolving reality is: responsiveness and the capacity to participate in what is emerging. At a deeper level, permission is a gatekeeper of perception. It influences not only what people do, but what they allow themselves to notice, value, imagine, and consider possible. Permission is the internalized boundary between what we inherently perceive and what we believe we are allowed to perceive, express, or become. The statement, I accept permission to, with a big blank afterwards, is powerful because it shifts our attention from external authority to the origin of our belief that permission was necessary in the first place. It doesn't assume the answer, it invites expansive examination to our internal compass. Gain deeper insights, up-to-date info with the Harmonic Sound Keys. Join the email list to stay connected.